Hi everyone, my name is Alvaro Erize and I am the CEO of CINC. And I am delighted to be here with you today to introduce CINC Rev 2021. So for those that haven't been here in the past, CINC Rev is that time of the year where CINC brings the brightest minds in real estate, the most successful team leaders, and the most influential coaches in the industry to discuss what are the tips and tricks and what are the strategies and trade secrets of how they grow their business faster and profitably. And so I hope, and we have a great lineup of speakers behind me, that you're able to get a ton of value out of it and you have a lot of fun too in this next day or two. But before we go into listening to the true experts, I'd love to reflect for a minute on the year that just went by. And also maybe give you my thoughts of the year that's coming ahead, right? So this past year was tough, that's undeniable. 12 months ago, this pandemic hit the world very hard, and it hit the US and Canada especially hard. It hit it both mentally and physically. And so a lot of people thought that real estate would grind to a halt, that our industry was going to be extremely affected by this. And in fact, a lot of people preached that it was time to hunker down. That we should lock ourselves in, not just physically, but professionally, and that we should go into our fallout shelters and just weather the storm. Now, that's not us at CINC. We sincerely didn't think that that's how it was going to play out. And if you go back to our same CINC Rev 12 months ago, stood here and we said, this is not the case. Real estate is an inelastic industry, and people that need to sell or buy a home don't stop having that need because the economy goes up or down. And in fact, this particular crisis, which is a crisis that will put a lot of concepts up to the test, will actually drive more people towards tangible assets. And so our position that day was, this is the moment for you to invest. Q2 of 2020 was probably the most important quarter in the history of real estate, at least since I've been in. Because at that critical moment of both challenge and opportunity, people got divided in between the agents that would hide under a bed, that would say, well, no one can buy right now. They cannot even see houses. So why am I going to spend effort and time on those relationships that cannot come through for me? And separate those people from the people that would say, no, absolutely, now is when these people need me the most. And I'm okay if they're not ready to transact today because I trust that I will be earning their business for the future. And in fact, when we'd make that statement, we even received some critiques of some people saying that it was irresponsible to say that I thought that the number of transactions in the year was actually going to be much unaffected by this, and that at most it was going to drop by 10%. No one is saying that today, right? We're a year later. We closed the year at 5% growth in actual number of transactions. And from a CINC point of view, I am very proud to say that our clients on average grew their transactions by more than 20%. And that many clients that I know ended the year at double the run rate of business of the end of the year before. Now, that's not the story of all our clients, especially the ones in states that were deeply affected by the COVID countermeasures and that remained in lockdown for very long times. They suffered and they had down years. But even those CINC clients outdid the competition and were able to expand market share even through those challenges. But that's not all by chance. The truth is, the business went to the people that were ready and willing to stay in the fight. And we saw it. The flurry of activity that resulted in Q2 of 2020 and Q3 was something we'd never seen before. Never. We saw, of course, from a consumer point of view, we saw leads being up, we saw more people putting their information online, and we saw more effective leads coming through of people that were ready to almost transact over the phone. But that paled in comparison to what we saw from our agents. We saw more calls being done, we saw more call notes in the system, we saw more work time on the system. And lo and behold, those are the people that a few months later would be cashing in like never before. And so that success is absolutely yours. You deserve it because you were ready to serve people that had a need, that needed human connection, that needed to talk to someone in a moment where they were in maximum uncertainty, You were willing to invest your time and your effort and your emotions to be there for them, knowing that they wouldn't transact for a while. What I am extremely proud from CINC is that I feel that we supported that fully. Now, when other tech companies made half of their investments, their service, their teams, because they thought we just need to get through the storm, we did not. We bet on this. We doubled down. We expanded our service hours. We expanded our tech developments. We rolled out video texting. We rolled out artificial intelligence, all things that were meant to give you the tools to serve that increased amount of leads that were happening. And in the same way that you saw teams that reduced their team, that stopped working or worked less or left real estate altogether, and those lost against those other teams that were willing to fight in that Q2 of 2020, we were able to thrive thanks to the fact that you stood by us and that we were able to stand by you. And so as a last word on 2020, I really just want to say thank you. Thank you for being part of our family, and thank you for having trusted us through these difficult times. I am extremely proud to having been able to serve you as a company, all of us, through these times, and we're happy to be here with you today in this bright dawn of 2021 that we're living. And so let's go into 2021, right? Because 2020 is done, it's past, and who cares anymore? So we are looking at an absolute bull of a year. I am not a contrarian today when I say that we are expecting a 20% growth in transactions this year versus this past year. So we're looking at 6.5 million homes sold in 2021, if my expectations are correct. Now, don't listen to me. Actually, go and listen to the experts. Go and click the video of Marco Santarelli. He's the expert in real estate trends and investment, real estate investment in the US. I follow him blindly, and I seriously recommend that you look at it. You will learn about not only the demand that is there today, but what the shadow demand is that is lurking behind. So please absolutely go and look at that video. Now with that, what does that mean for you? Okay, so economy is going to grow. Well, not economy, real estate is going to grow. What does that mean for me? Well, what that means is that if you are not ready to grow your team by 20 to 40% in its capacity to absorb and convert leads, you're going to lose market share. And so even if you grow 10% this year, you might feel good about how it made more money than last year, but you lost because other people grew more than you did because they were able to tackle that bull that is coming. And with that in mind, we want to give you the means for you to do that. So the first thing that I will say is you need the technology to leverage your agents further. You cannot work 20% more hours, and even if you want to, you cannot ask your agents to work 20% more hours. There's just not enough hours in the week. So use our tools. So we released the dialer upgrade, auto tracks, behavioral texting, artificial intelligence. All of these tools are meant for you to be able to serve more clients with less time. And I implore you to study them, to go try them out and use them, because you will need it. You are providing you leads at half the value of half the cost, not half the value, half the cost of what they were 2 years ago. So you're getting double the leads and you need to be able to serve them. And so you're either doing it or artificial intelligence is doing it, but someone needs to respond to these people. They need help. So please, that is step number one. Embrace the technology, use it at the most so that you can tackle this bull that's coming. But that may not be enough. I'm a technologist, so I'd like to think that technology can solve everything, but it can't. You need backup. So you probably need to recruit. And if you're not thinking of recruiting right now, then you're going to be behind when you need it. And beyond that, you probably also may need to look at your ISA model. What are you doing on that first line of defense with elites? So in that sense, I'd love for you to check out the webinars of, for example, Jeff Cook, who runs one of the most successful mega teams in North America and is very generous with his advice and will share with you not just how he recruits, but how he onboards so that those people are effective and productive and net positive to you and your team in the first year, because you need that now. Or go and listen to John Mikesh, who has tons of experience, but also a very human touch of how he approaches hiring, onboarding, and growing his team. So first, you need the technology. Second, you need to be ready to grow the team, right? But if you do those things and you're ready, this is the year where you're going to turn that into growth of your company as a whole. Now, I know that it doesn't come without challenges. And so I hear you on the other side of the screen saying, yeah, but even if I have a bigger team and even if I'm being able to serve all these buyer leads, there's just no houses out there being sold. We're in this crazy market where a house in Atlanta gets 16 offers overnight, right? Well, let's wait for a second. Like, let's remember what we just said. 6.5 million homes will be sold this year, which means there's more inventory in the market and more inventory available and changing hands today than ever in the last 20 years. And so that it's not an excuse that we can use. We cannot say they're not out there. They are there. Now, what happens is there's a lot of demand, and therefore it's tougher to get to those properties. Now, from CINC, the first thing that we're doing, and we've been doing this for the last 6 and 9 months because we knew that this market was going to hold and we were predicting it, so we were working on it. We've been working on completely revamping our seller suite for the last 6 months, and we are going to do a relaunch of our seller suite with better ways, more consistent ways of getting sellers, but also better ways of following up and converting those sellers. So that is coming from us later this year. But that's later this year. There's things that you need to be doing today. And the first one of those things is think of your most appreciated asset of the last 2 years. You might look at your stock portfolio and say, well, same number of shares and my stock is up 10%. That is amazing. Yeah? That's an asset that has gained value. But you have an asset that has gained much more value that you may have been overlooking, and that's your database. And I know everyone says, yeah, you have to mine gold in your database. I'm going to tell you something very specific of why your database is worth a lot of money today, which is most people that own a house are now sitting in much more equity than they think. They know the market is hot, but if they haven't looked at the value of their house, they may be ignoring that they are $100,000 more rich than they were last year. They're sitting in that equity. For some, that might be, okay, that's great. I still want to stay in my house. For many of them, that means, oh, I should cash out. I should cash out now. And so the question that you should be asking yourself is, do you know, have you made everyone in your database, every past client, every sphere of influence, every prospect that you have you made them aware of how much their house is worth? Or how much their house may be worth if they have one to sell? And if the answer is no, they're leaving money on the table. Because many of them, if they found out, they would say, whoa, okay, this might change my mind and might drive me to a sell that I might not otherwise have done. So more important than ever is to be reaching out to that database and specifically be reaching out to them with tools to get them to understand how much their house is worth. So we have plenty of people in CINC Rev that are masters of mining databases and of creating relationships. You can go to Coffee, you can go to Gibson. Any of them will tell you, and please watch those videos, what you should be doing to maximize the value out of your database today. So if you do those things, if you're ready for growth, if you are already preparing to grow your team, if you're maximizing your technology this year, and if you are also looking at all alternatives that will allow you to mine seller leads in this very particular market, you are absolutely ready for this bull of a year. And our goal, our role this year is to help you take that bull by its horns, to help you ride it into the best year of real estate that we've all seen. How? As I've said, technology is coming. We're going to keep pushing. Our seller suite is coming. Our artificial intelligence and the different products in our CRM are there. Please use them. And things like this, like CINC Rev, like our conversion training, our live trainings, free live trainings that are still available for you and you should be going to. And all of those are to help you ride this year. Conclusion, I think it's going to be an amazing year. And I think you're taking the best first step by being here today, by listening to these experts. And I know I've said it before, but I will say it again. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was a scary year. And for many of us, for me personally, it was a year of a lot of big personal loss. And you absolutely stood by us. You stood by our team. You listened to us. when we said that this is time to double down. You allowed us to double down. And I hope that I can say that we stood by you too, and that a little bit of that success that you had that last year is due to our efforts too. So thank you for being part of our family. Please enjoy and give us feedback on everything that you learn in the next day. And I hope to see you again soon in person. I miss you all. And as this world opens up, our masterminds and our summits will give us the opportunity. I hope to see you there. I hope to see you in person. Till the next time.